Hello, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday, whatever it is you've been up to. Thank you for following this channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd be grateful of that. There's big things coming up this week, which I'm pleased about. We've also had big news today in terms of the Champions League, the group stage draws, and also in the last hour it's been announced that Leah Williamson has withdrawn from the England squad after sustaining a strain and an injury in training earlier on. Of course, she's away with the England squad just now because they've got a big week ahead of them. It is friendlies, but very much so looking forward to England playing the USA on Friday at Wembley. We'll get to that in a second, but sad news for Leah Williamson. She has withdrawn from the England camp after sustaining an injury in training. Molly Hodgson, who's a reporter, has tweeted, actually, I was walking into the Lensbury earlier on today. I saw Leah Williamson on crutches and in a protective boot, which doesn't particularly bode well to her participation on Friday, but of course could be precautionary. So yeah, it's been announced that she has returned home, which is an absolute shame because it's a massive game ahead of England on Friday, and then of course they've still got the Czech Republic as well to play next week. But England have sold out Wembley once again, just a few months on from their victory in the Euros final. I'm going on Friday. I cannot wait. If you're there, let's chat. Let's have a chin wag. I'm going to be vlogging, and I'm very much so looking forward to it. By the way, just to say as well, Lotte Wubben-Moy, Leah's Arsenal teammate, has been called up to the England squad as replacement to Leah Williamson. I have to say, it'll be shaky without having their captain there at the back. And also for Arsenal as well, what does this mean for Leah Williamson? How much of an injury is this? They've got Champions League football coming up, and they're also without Rafael Souza as well. Rafael Souza also out with an injury too. So the back line for Arsenal is going to be looking extremely shaky. We know that Lotte Wubben-Moy would be getting that call up as well. We have seen her return to the side after Rafa's injury at the North London derby, but replacing Leah Williamson will be a sticky situation indeed. Let's move on to the Champions League, shall we? Because the group stage draws were done this morning. Group A is a belter. Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain, Villiansna, I want to say that's right. It's an Albanian side, and Real Madrid as well. That's a very interesting group. And also Group B, we've got Slavia Prague, Wolfsburg, St. Pollentin and Roma. And Group C, Arsenal, Lyon, Zurich and Juventus. And then in Group D, it's Rosengard, Bayern Munich, Barcelona and Benfica. So the strong sides have been fairly evenly distributed amongst these groups, is what it seems like. But the big one, of course, will be Lyon, the title holders, who have won this competition 8 times, against Arsenal. That's likely to be the 17th of October. So Leah Williamson rightly sent home from this camp after this injury, because she's going to be needed in that back line for Arsenal. What more do you want from Lyon? They're an outstanding side. And in the final against Barcelona just last year, you saw Ada Hegerberg returning to Lyon to put 2 goals in the final, which was just absolutely magnificent of her. And yeah, I mean, even Danielle van de Donk in that Lyon side as well, going up against her old Arsenal teammates. I like the sound of that. Arsenal are very much so looking to progress. You know, they went out in the quarterfinals by Wolfsburg last year, and it definitely feels like time for Arsenal to really step up. And it's a shame that this injury's happened to Leah Williamson, because they're looking great, they're looking strong. I've been at all of their games so far. I've been watching the game, of course, against Ajax, and that was a strange day altogether, but they got the win, and now here they are. They've got it all, I would say, Arsenal at the moment. But injuries might now be the real problem for them, and that's only now this happening today. So it's a real problem. Of course, they won the quadruple back in 2007, but Arsenal haven't been present in the Champions League for so many years. Can that be the difference this time round? I'm not so sure now. I would have been saying absolutely yesterday, but with the news that's happened today, it's just hard to call that. Also, Paris Saint-Germain against Chelsea. Here. We know Chelsea were knocked out at the group stage last year. This time round, I feel like in the WSL, Emma Hayes has already had one upset. You know, she lost the opening game against Liverpool. She's quick to just put that to bed and move on and focus. She's got such a strong side as well. It feels like it could also be a time for Chelsea. You know, you can only be looking at that and thinking this is the time is now for Chelsea. They really strengthened over the summer, and you know, it feels like they're going to go far in this competition. It feels like the mistakes happened and now they'll be running amok in Europe as well. But it's going to be an interesting game. That'll be the day after, of course, the Arsenal-Lyon game, I think the 19th of October. PSG will be hosting Chelsea for that first game in their Champions League group stages. Yeah, PSG, well, what can we say? What an absolute side they've got, and so many stars of that team present, of course, in the Euros as well. You know, you've got Katoto, I've got my image there, just what a player, what a player, and actually in that return leg, I'll be going to that game just to see that PSG side in the flesh. They're that good. It feels like they definitely have it all to progress into the Champions League, to make it through the semis, perhaps even make it to a final with the side that they've got. But the ones to watch, of course, in Group A as well, Chelsea against PSG, and then you've got the Albanian side, and then you've got Real Madrid. Real Madrid, definitely looking like a decent side. They suffered a lot at the weekend, I know that, but in terms of Champions League football, they did knock out Manchester City. And they have Caroline Weir, super Caroline Weir. What's funny, when that happened in the Champions League, I believe that the fans were singing Sweet Caroline, just assuming that she was English possibly, but she's not. We'll claim her, she's one of our own, she's Scotland. So yeah, Group A is certainly quite interesting. Slavia Prague, can't say I know too much about them. Wolfsburg, we know that they've got such a side. It'll be interesting to see how Wolfsburg do. Wolfsburg were, of course, the ones who knocked out Arsenal last time round, and then Arsenal, Lyon, Zurich and Juventus. I'd say that is quite a tricky group, I would say. I now don't see with this news how it happens for Arsenal. You know, I think we've got to be honest about that. You can't see this as an easy competition for them whatsoever. They have what it takes, but going up against Lyon, when you've got the injuries like that, you know, the key I think for Arsenal this season would be keeping Souza fit. Now you've got Souza out and potentially a bad injury for Leah Williamson. It's going to be tough in Group D, Rosengard, Bayern Munich, Barcelona and Benfica. So yeah, really interesting times. All very, very strong teams as well. Some very, very new into the Champions League as well, and some just looking to go further and further and further. Hoping we'll maybe see you guys about on Friday at Wembley. I cannot wait. I'm really looking forward to it. On Friday you're going to see the European title holders against the World Cup title holders. I know it's only a friendly, but it should be an absolute belter.